Oh, come on. We think we can do better than that. How's everyone doing this evening? There you go. My name is Wesley Brown. I have the pleasure of introducing your next guest here to the stage. You know her as Counselor Deanna Troi from Star Trek: The Next Generation, the 4 feature films that followed, and numerous other appearances in the Star Trek franchise. But also her voice is featured on Mass Effect, Adventure Time, Young Justice, and of course, as the villainess Demona in the hit Disney animated series Gargoyles. Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Marina Sirtis.
Oh, well, this is very intimate. Okay, you people at the back, just come forward for God's sakes. Don't make me look back that far. Come on, move to the front. Oi, come on. I'm talking to you people that are ignoring me right now. Come on. I can see you. Move forward. Otherwise, I'll just pick on you all afternoon. All right. And I'm not sitting down, because that's for lazy actors. Those of you who've seen me before know that the first thing I do is rearrange the furniture. Okay. They're great shoes. I know, they're great shoes. Sorry, I got them in Greece. Is there someone hiding? Oh, you, back there with the white hair. I can see you. That's your daughter? She doesn't like noise? Okay, like amplifiers haven't been invented yet, so it actually sounds the same here as it does back there, kind of, because that's what technology does. Okay. Hi, everybody. I can't see you because these lights are so bright, and he's going to be effed because I don't sit in one place, and I walk around like this. There you go. There you go. I love pissing them off. I really do. Okay. Okay. Who has never seen me before live? Oh my God. Where have you been for the last 30 years? Okay. All right. Some of you weren't born yet. All right. I get that. I find that amazing, actually, because I don't imagine there's anybody left on the planet who likes Star Trek who hasn't seen me. Because I am... Oi, you two, come forward. Oi. Wanted, whatever you say. Come here. Come on, forward. Come on. I don't know why you want to be that far back. Come to the expensive seats. There you go. Okay, that's better. Okay, well, this is good because if you've not seen me before, you haven't heard the jokes before. So I don't have to think of any new material. Fantastic. Okay, so... I do a little chatting first, and then it's up to you to ask questions. So while I'm talking, think of some questions. Bearing in mind I've been doing this for 30 years, right? Try and think of something I possibly may not have been asked before. I know, it's hard. Anyway, and I'll give you a heads up. How many Gargoyles fans in the audience? Okay, a lot. Okay. Don't ask me about Gargoyles. No, because I never watched it. I know you're all shocked. What do you mean you never watched it? I find myself totally uninteresting, I have to be honest. I'm watching sports. When you all are watching your sci-fi and your anime and playing your video games and doing all that new stuff, I'm watching sports on a television. I know. Call me old-fashioned. I refuse to watch my sports on a computer screen when I've got a 50-inch screen in my living room, right? So I watch TV. Now, as you all know, we became the movie franchise when the old guys, basically they were just too old to wear those spacesuits anymore and have any pride left. No, really. None of them stayed very slim, apart from Leonard Nimoy. Actually, no, Walter's pretty slim too. And actually, George is pretty slim too. But, you know, the captain. And I love Bill as much as anybody, but, you know, let's be honest. Anyway, so he was getting to look a bit porky in that outfit. So, and how many girdles can he wear at one time? So... Okay, so for those of you who haven't seen me before, you're like, look, it's like, I can see people looking at me, they're like, Who is she? This is not Deanna Troi. Because Deanna Troi was sweet. And Marina's really mean. Okay, before you ask me anything about Deanna and me, the only thing that Deanna Troi and Marina Sirtis have in common is we're the same height. Basically, I am the opposite of Deanna Troi. So the biggest challenge to playing Deanna was keeping Marina out of her. Because I'm a horrible person, really, deep down inside. I'm mean as a snake. And these are words from Michael Dorn's lips. She's mean as a snake, especially when she's had a drink. She's a mean drunk. True. So anyway, we were going to be the movie franchise. Oh, come on in, come down to the front, come on, work your way down to the, like I said, the expensive seats. And so we knew this was going to happen. We knew that we were only going to do 7 years because when we first signed our contracts, when we started, we signed a 6-year contract. And at the end of the 6th season, they had to negotiate for a 7th. And then they also negotiated for an 8th. Well, what happened, we knew there wasn't going to be an 8th because season 1 through 7, whenever we were negotiating the money, they would like fight us. It was like pulling teeth trying to get a raise out of these people. But when it came to negotiating season 8, they kind of went, oh yeah, whatever you want. He went, okay, there's not going to be a season 8. So we knew. So we knew season 7 was going to be our last. And we got the script to the first movie, Generations, round about Christmas time, which was like halfway through the season. So we got the script at Christmas. You know, they deliver it to your house because all the scripts, they have these like, I don't know what they call them. They have like security numbers in them. You know, they like a watermark, you know, on money, so that if a script gets out and gets published, you know, before the movie comes out, they pretty much know who released it. Except that sometimes they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer in Hollywood, because the people who were releasing the scripts were not the actors, were not anyone who actually worked on the movie. It was the printer. That's where the script, I'm pretty sure that's where the scripts were coming from, the people who were printing the scripts, right? So the stories always came out before we did. So it's ridiculous trying to keep a secret in Hollywood. And the other thing is, if you want to keep a secret in Hollywood, don't tell me. Because you may as well call the New York Times and tell them, because I'm a big blabbermouth. So, anyway, so we get the script, and I ripped it open, and I started reading it, and I got to the part where Troi got to drive. And I lost my mind. And I called my best friend, Michael Dorn, who from this moment forth will be called Dorney, because my husband's called Michael, so we called Michael Dorn Dorney. And so Dorney, I said, Dorney! I said, have you read the script? Have you read it? I get to drive the Enterprise. Can you believe I get to drive the Enterprise? I'm so excited. And he goes, have you finished the script? No. Okay, finish it and call me back. So I finished the script, and I was really pissed off. All my thrill and excitement at driving the Enterprise disappeared because, of course, it had to be a woman driving when the Enterprise crashed. Let's be honest. Sorry, I just spit on you in the front row. I do apologize. I just ate some peanuts and I shouldn't have. Anyway, so, excuse me, if you think of the history of who drove the ship, who was the first person to drive the ship? Come on, no, not in the original cast. Oh, for God's sakes. In my show. What? Yes! Geordie was the first person who drove. The blind dude. And then when he went off to engineering, the child. Never a scratch on it. When he left, pretty much any chicken red who happened to be passing. Here's the keys, go drive the ship, and while you're down there, be nice to Data, because he gets lonely on his own down there. And like I said, never a scratch on it, until Troi got to drive. In my defense, that planet just came out of nowhere, okay? So I was not happy, and then of course you cut to Nemesis, which I have to say, it's your fault we didn't make any more movies because you didn't go and see it enough. You did. I know you did, Heather. I'm sure you did. But the rest of you are rubbish. Because if we had had an audience for Nemesis, we might still be making movies. But no, you guys thought, oh, they'll keep making movies. We don't have to go and see this one. And you do. Okay, so it's your fault we're cancelled. And then, of course, I had to crash the ship again. But this time, I was following orders. Because old Baldy, Sir Old Baldy, he told me to crash the ship. Okay, and I did. Because I'd had practice in crashing the ship. So, actually, talking about Sir Old Baldy, it was one of the biggest thrills of my life when he got knighted, because I'm English too, as you probably can tell. And I actually have a picture of him on the little footstool, kneeling on it while the Queen, dubs him with the sword. So exciting. I mean, it just fills my heart with pride that my captain became a sir. And when he first was knighted, he came back to LA, because he doesn't live in LA anymore, so we don't see as much of him as we'd like to. But he came back to LA, and to celebrate, he took us all out to dinner. I think it's probably the only time he's ever paid for dinner, but that's another story. So all the others were like, oh, congratulations, Patrick, well done, And I walked in, and I curtsied. And he went, that's what you should have all done. See, she got it right. She got it right. I love my captain. I love all my cast, actually. We are, and I'm not talking out of school here, well, a little bit out of school. We are the only cast. I don't know about Discovery because they're new, but we are the only cast from the original series up to Enterprise where the whole cast got along. We loved each other from day one, all of us. It was lightning in a bottle. We just did. We got on. I mean, I remember on the first day of filming, I thought we were all going to get fired because we were laughing so hard and just couldn't stop, like we were all high on weed or something. But we weren't. We was just, everything was really funny. And then we had a director. I'm just going to keep walking just to mess with you. And we had this director in the first season who just, you know what? Put it on a wide thing and I'll be this big. No? Okay. We had a director in the first season who directed 2 shows and then he refused to ever come back because we were too unruly. Where are you going?
This corner to get a better shot.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, you need more light. Okay. And put a filter on the lens. Okay. Yeah, we all got along so well, and we were so told off. We were so chastised by our producers. We were all, and this was early on because Tasha was still on the show, and we were all called into Tasha's quarters, and Rick Berman basically reamed us all a new one and said this was unheard of in the history of Hollywood, that a director would refuse to work with actors. And so Denise said, well, sometimes we're here for like 18 hours a day, and if we're not having fun, it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be hell. And Patrick, who, like I said, it was really early on, and have to be honest, he was a bit up his own bum when we started. He was very serious. And he said, and where, Denise, does it say in our contract that we're here to have fun, right? Let me just say this. It took us about 6 months to beat that out of him. And now he's the silliest one of all of us. You've seen his Twitter feed with Ian McKellen, right? He's a silly man. He's a very silly man. And You're welcome, Sir Old Baldy. Right. Yeah. Because I was getting calls from my friends in England who had worked with him at the Royal Shakespeare Company, and they're going, Marina, you can't be you, because he's very serious. It's all about the work with Patrick. Oi, where you going? Oi! Where you going? You see, when you walk out halfway through my talk, I can't help but take it personally. Do you have a plane to catch? You have to go to the bathroom? You got to, okay, go. If you need to go to the bathroom, pretend like you're in school and put your hand up, okay? Okay, go to the bathroom. I expect you back in 5 minutes. What was I saying? Okay, oh yeah, let me give you a quick heads up. Please pay attention, because I am postmenopausal. And if I change the subject in the middle of a sentence, I'll never remember what I was talking about originally. So please pay attention. So I'm going to ask you, what was I talking about? All right. What was I talking about when he was leaving? Sir Patrick. Where had I got in the story? Oh, yeah. So my friends called me from England. They're like, you can't be you. You have to be well behaved, because he's very serious. And I was like, yeah, pshaw. And I can't be that serious. It's not in my nature. And, he would stand there and he would put his hands on his hips and he'd be like, I am Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Starship Enterprise. And I'd be sitting behind him going, Patrick, take your hands off your hips. You look like a Nancy boy. And he'd be like, shut up, Marina, shut up. And I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help make you look manly, and all. Anyway, I've talked enough. I'm going to talk some more because you're going to ask me some questions. But yeah, put your hands up, ask me questions. Yes, love. Dante, how are you?
Good.
Oh, blimey. All right.
I know.
It's very loud. Don't talk so loud into the mic. Okay.
On the topic of your sports and your drinks, what sports and what drinks do you prefer?
Okay. I have 3 main sports. Football, American football, and tennis. And then I watch what I call the business end of the season, basketball and baseball. But there's just too many games during the season of basketball and baseball to watch. So at the end of the season, playoffs, I start watching. So yes, I watch a lot of sports. And if anyone calls football soccer, I'm going to punch you in the face. Because when you invent something, you get to name it. And England invented football, which is a ball, and 11 players kick it in each team, right? And the goal, right. And then this new country comes along a couple of 100 years ago, and they invent a game where only the kicker and the punter kick the ball, but they decide to call it football. Which doesn't mean that in England we get to change the name of our national game, right? So, football, American football, that's the definition. Okay. Nothing pisses me off more than people calling football soccer. It's the only country in the world they don't call football football. Right, don't get me started. Okay, yes, Dante. On drinks?
Yeah.
Are there any children in the audience? Children? Any children? Okay, no children. Alcohol, I have to be honest, is not my drug of choice.
Fair enough.
And now it's legal in California. And it doesn't destroy your liver. And you've never met a mean pothead. Ever. Right? Because you just giggle and then you fall asleep. You don't punch people, you don't get into fights. It's a much better drug than alcohol. I'm just saying, in my opinion. Okay. And it doesn't make you fat. As long as you go to bed before you get the munchies. Okay. All right. Yes, love.
Mine too.
Hello, Heather.
Hello. I grew up with Deanna Troi. Love Deanna Troi. Was always so I'm kind of an empath too. I feel so much, so I resonated with her. But I resonate with you too, because I do characters for a living. So I'm a big goof, but I have to put it on. So
right.
I think that's why I love you as the characters, and then I love you so much because you're just so
outrageous.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're wonderful. But I've always been curious. I'm Irish. I have kind of.
You're Irish?
Yeah.
Okay, well, never mind. All right.
So we
Actually, I have to be honest before you go on. I went to Ireland for the first time. I went to Dublin last summer for the first time. Wonderful. Beautiful country. Beautiful country. Nicest people in the world, right? So I had to apologize to them. And they're like, why?
We're very
because
loud
I've
too.
called them effing terrorists for the last 45 years. And I felt really bad. And you know what an Irishman said to me? Well, at least you called it to our faces, Marina, and not behind our backs. So,
Well,
yeah.
for what it's worth, my family left because of all that bullshit.
All right, okay. Yeah.
But I was always intrigued by Deanna Troi's accent.
Oh.
Was it something, because I have to tone it down for
Right.
certain characters. Was it something that you had to like tone down?
No.
That's how you came up, or was it something specific
It was
to
specific because-
Deanna to
yeah.
make her more elegant?
No, what happened was, it's a whole, like, go sit down, Heather, because it's a long story. So what happened was, as you all probably know, my first 3 auditions, I was auditioning for the part of Tasha Yar, right? And Denise was auditioning for Troi. And the only reason that we were auditioning for the opposite roles were because of the character description. Tasha was supposed to be dark, and Troi was supposed to be blonde. But at the end of the day, hair color doesn't really matter. So 3 auditions in, I was just walking out of the audition, and they ran after me and brought me back, and they said, we think there's a part that you're more right for, so here's the script. They gave me some pages of Troy's dialogue, and they said, sit in that room for an hour, and then we'll see you in an hour. Now, Tasha was supposed to be from Eastern Europe. So being as I do accents, that's my thing, I was doing this like Polish accent. And then when I started auditioning for Troi, I would do every audition 3 times. I would do Polish, and then I would do English. I mean, not this English, not common English like the Queen speaks, not this horrible accent. Actually, my agent, when I first came to America, said, well, you speak like the Queen, don't you? And I went, well, a Queen possibly, but not the Queen. So anyway, so I would do Polish, English, and then a very bad American, because I'd only been in the country like 3 months when I started auditioning. So when I got the job, they said, by the way, you have to do an accent. And I went, okay, not a problem. Where do you want the accent to come from? And they said, Beta Z. And I went, oh, cool. I can make it up. Who's going to tell me I'm doing it wrong? I'm the first Betazoid, right? So I made this accent up. And because I was so grateful for the job, I didn't want to say to them, excuse me, but why am I doing an accent? Jean-Luc Picard? Supposed to be French. If you've ever heard Patrick do a French accent, count your blessings. He sounds like Inspector Clouseau from the Pink Panther movies. It's terrible. He's not good with accents. We used to mock him mercilessly when he did. What did he do? Pontiac. He did when there were Pontiacs. He did a Pontiac commercial. Pontiac, an American car. Isn't that a good American accent? No, Patrick, it's rubbish. Shut up. He's horrible with accents. Anyway, however, being British or English, I don't know how you feel about the French down here in southern Florida. We don't really like them in England. So I was always a bit confused about why we built the Channel Tunnel joining the 2 countries who had a war once that lasted 100 years, right? But then, according to Star Trek, I figured it out. Because the English infiltrate by the 24th century and take over. Have you noticed, re-Star Trek, no French-speaking people left in France? I can't even say it. We've assimilated them. So, anyway. So then we get to meet my mom. Right, got to meet my mom. And my mom comes on the show, and she's obviously from the American sector on Beta Z. Because she hasn't got an accent. So, being as I am me, I had to go to the producers. I had to. Excuse me. Hi, it's me. I thought I was doing the Betazoid accent and just met Mom. American. And they went, oh. So basically, the producers never want to hear from actors. The producers, if they had their druthers, would make movies without actors because they hate actors, right? So they never want to see an actor in their office. What they really want to say to actors who come to their office is, shut up and get out of my office, right? But I had asked them a legitimate question. So, where does my accent come from if I'm not doing the Betazoid accent? It's your father's accent. Now get out of my office. Okay, all right. Father's accent, all right. Yeah, exactly, because we met him in season 6. And he was from Idaho or somewhere, right? So, you know, I had to go back. Hello, Rick. Hi, me again. Thought I was doing my dad's accent. He doesn't have an accent. They sent you away to school, all right? Get out of my office, all right. But if you watch, okay, I'll tell you what you should do. Watch Encounter at Farpoint, and then watch All Good Things. First of all, you'll be amazed at how much better the show got after the first episode. Whew. And you'll see Troi is not nearly as foreign at the end as she was at the beginning, right? Because it didn't make sense. My accent didn't make sense. So basically, over the years, I started to cross the Atlantic. And by season 7, I was on Ellis Island, ready to come in, okay? So, actually, after I finished the show and I would go in for meetings for other jobs, people didn't even know I was English. They thought I was American, and then they would go, oh my God, you're English. I go, yeah. And they go, oh, but you hide it so well. And you just want to say, it's called acting. Really? Oh my goodness, okay. So that is the story of the accent. You're welcome. There you go. All right. No, don't clap. Takes up too much time. Okay. So, next question. Come on. Hop up. Yes.
Hi there.
Hello.
I actually wanted to ask, now that I actually found out that you worked in Mass Effect,
Yeah.
if the game industry were to, contact you for another role.
Yeah. I've done another role. Don't ask me what it is, because I forgot.
All right.
But
well,
I did another game, but you always do the voice. You do the voices first. Did you know that for video games, that you do the voices first and then they make the game?
well, I mean, if it has to come with lip syncing, yeah. Because I study that, so sorry.
Oh, you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did the voice for Mass Effect, and then like 2 years later, the game came out. And I was at a con that had more people, I have to say. And not that I don't appreciate that you're all here. Okay, thank you. And somebody in the audience goes, how did you enjoy doing the voice on Mass Effect? And I went, what are you talking about? And he said, you're the matriarch Benezia on Mass Effect. I went, no, I'm not. He went, no, you are, because it says so. And I went, well, they're lying to sell more video games. Because I had totally forgotten that I had done this voice acting 2 years before. This is what happens. Okay, just wait a minute, because I'm going to give my menopause speech now. Okay, young women. Okay, there are some young women out there. The menopause, you never learn about it. It's become my mission in life. This is why I'm talking about it. It's become one of my missions in life to talk about the menopause. Because I did human biology at school. And that word never came up once. We learned about menstruation. We learned about copulation. We learned about boys' bits and girls' bits, all the bits, right? Menopause never came up, ever. So when you get it, like I got early onset menopause, you think you're getting early onset Alzheimer's. and you just don't know what's going on. And it does terrible things to your brain, and it does terrible things to your body, and it does terrible things to your memory. And the only good thing is I haven't been cold in 20 years. Swear to God, I have never been cold since menopause. But I want you all to be aware, girls, because every woman goes through it, and the fact that no one talks about it is related back to the days when women's only basically purpose in life was to breed. And once you had stopped breeding, you were basically useless. And so no one talked about the menopause. It was a shameful thing. It is not a shameful thing. Every single woman in this room is going to go through the menopause. You need to know about it. You need to know how it affects you. You need to know about what drugs you can and can't take. You do not take Premarin. It's made from horses' urine. And they keep the horses pregnant constantly. It's cruel. There are other things you can take. So I'm just saying, little bit of, not as lighthearted. This is really serious stuff. And men, when your woman is going through the menopause, you have to take a mental pause. Because for a while, she's going to be mad as a box of frogs, okay? So just letting you know. All right, back to your question. I've done my duty. Right.
So the question essentially is, if the industry were to contact you again, would you consider doing whatever role it is? And if the answer is yes, what role would you like to do?
I have to be honest. The only video game I have ever played is Tetris.
Would you like to be one of the blocks?
If they talked. Yeah. For those of you who love, I know this is a Comic-Con and a lot of you are animation fans and anime fans and manga fans and all the fans of all things drawn. It's not my favorite form of acting. It's actually my least favorite form of acting, doing voice work, because acting is reacting to the person who's speaking to you, right? When you don't have someone to react to, it's not as fulfilling for me to not look into someone's eyes and get the emotions that are coming from them or whatever, right? So I do not a lot of voice acting, but I do some. I like to work with actual people, yeah. The director sitting in a sound booth with headphones and a microphone, and a director in the, oh shoot, there is a child in the audience. Is he okay with the weed stuff? Okay, all right. But anyway, so it's not my favorite form of acting, but I'm not a wealthy woman, so if a job comes along, I do it because I have bills to pay. So yeah, I never turn work down. Any of you who are going to be actors, younger people who are thinking of being actors? Yeah? Dante, don't turn work down. Because you never know who you're going to meet or where it's going to lead.
I've had that drilled into my head.
Right, you've had that experience, right? You think it's a shitty job, but then you meet someone or the director likes you or whatever it is, and it leads to other work. So I don't turn anything down. I'm Michael Caine. He didn't turn anything down either. British actors don't turn anything down. You Americans are a bit bonkers, I have to say, in my business.
I actually just got an offer to do. I'm not sure if it's a paying role for an audition on I think Wednesday.
Right.
At first I was kind of hesitant to do it because it doesn't pay, but it might make me a connection.
You know what I always say? At an audition, if you don't get this job, you're auditioning for the next part, right? And in a job, if you're not going to get paid or it's a very low-paying job, it might lead to a much better job. Yeah. And it's all experience. It's all experience. And there are no small parts. Only small actors. Exactly. That actually isn't true. So, but you have to say it to people who are starting out to give them hope. Okay. Right. Yes, Heather, keep
I'll bother
going.
you all day if you let me. I'm sorry. I know that you said you're not as familiar with Gargoyles,
Right.
but it was another show I grew up with. Voice acting, I know now, is a lot different. You're not in the same room. Were any of you, because half the cast was on Next Generation.
Now Gargoyles I enjoyed because we did it like a radio play.
Okay.
So we were all in the room together in a semicircle. And that's why it was so good.
Because yeah, it was.
That's why it was so good.
much
Because I could look at
passion.
the person. I could look at the person who I was talking to. And I have to admit, as I said, I obviously, I've just said it's not my favorite form of acting, because there are real voice actors. A lot of them are here, right? Real voice actors. That is their job. That is their specialty. And they are amazing. Because I remember, like in Gargoyles, there'd be one line in the script. And the director, Jamie, would say, okay, I need, just for this line, I need old Scottish guy, sounds like a dog when he's talking. And 3 people would put their hand up. And I'm like, really? Really? You have that in your repertoire? Old Scottish guy who talks like a dog. And I'm like, how is that possible? I'd have to practice for weeks. Anyway. So I admire voice actors because when they're good, they're so good. And Vic Mignogna is a really good friend of mine, and you all know who he is, so I have to be. And also, I do a little voice on his, what is it called, Star Trek Continues?
Yeah, it continues. You were the computer.
I'm the voice of the computer on Star Trek Continues. This is where JJ really effed up. I'm sorry. But if he had any sense at all, I would have been the voice of the computer in the new Star Trek movies. Because if he really, you know what? It would have made the fans so happy. Right? Wouldn't it make the fans happy? Yeah. They don't care. Okay. Yes, love. You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you. You do, too. You've transitioned from posh traditional live theater to shows. You've done video games. As a female entertainer, which one do you feel has been more open and less aggressive with you?
How do you mean?
Which industry of the entertainment business that you've been in, whether it's video games, TV, or live theater, have you felt more welcome as a female entertainer?
The theater.
Live theater?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, the theater. Listen, okay, as you've brought the subject up, and as it's a subject that's really prevalent right now because we've just had the Golden Globes and everyone, was obviously the Me Too movement. The sad thing about my business is that when I started acting professionally in 1976. Sexual misconduct was regarded as part of the job. As part of the job. It happened, and you put up with it, and you moved on. Because if you spoke out, you would never work again. I wanted to be an actress from the age of 3. There was no way some asshole producer was going to ruin my dream, right? Because I called him out. And I had some stuff happen to me that would make your hair curl. Make your hair curl. But I could never speak out. And that was in the 70s, right? It didn't change. 80s. One of the worst experiences I had was after I came to America, just before I got Star Trek. You couldn't speak out. The people that did speak out disappeared without a trace, and they were famous people. Ashley Judd, her career was like a rocket ship, and then suddenly she disappeared. Annabella Sciorra, same thing. Suddenly she was gone, and now we know why. What makes me so happy now is that the young women are not going to take this shit. You know what? The younger actresses who are so brave, there is no upside to speaking out at all. Because the others will say, well, why didn't you speak out? They don't understand how it works. And I'm sorry, but unless you're a woman, so let me put this in a different way. Okay. If men have an opinion about this and they're not supportive of women, I don't want to hear it. Because it's like being black. Unless you're black, you have no opinion about what it's like to be black. Because you've never been black. So shut your effing mouth. Right? You can't have an opinion about what you don't know. So it's the same thing with women. If you're not going to be a supportive man, then just shut up and don't say anything. Because I've heard a lot of people say, well, there's a difference between, there's a difference between a grope and rape. No, there isn't. The workplace should be a safe place to work where you shouldn't have to deal with this stuff. It's your workplace. It's not a bar. It's not a club. It's not a hotel bar. It's your workplace. And if this stuff goes down in your workplace, you have to speak out. And now in Hollywood, whether you're a chambermaid in a hotel, or whether you're working in a factory, or whether you're in the food industry, we have a fund now, and we will pay for your legal fees when you sue. This isn't just for actors. This is because actors can afford to pay for their own stuff, right? This is for the women who can't afford to pay. And it's there. And I want you to put the word out to people that if anything is going down and you're too scared to speak because you're scared you'll get fired, we have $15 million in Hollywood as of today, and it's probably going to be more in the future, that will help these women. And you have to call us and let us know, okay?
What's it called?
It's actually called Time's Up, okay? It's the Time's Up movement. So it's a wonderful, the world changed in a day. When Harvey Weinstein got called out, the world changed. And we have to make sure the change stays, and we have to support all women. And now it's time for some more jokes. So, okay. Because it all got a bit serious there. Okay. Yes, Mom.
Okay. So do you have any fun stories with Mom, Deanna Troi?
Oh my God. So, bearing in mind that she was the boss's wife, and we were very unruly, as y'all know now. Oh, look, I said y'all, like I'm from the South. Okay. Well, I am from the south of England, but so when we knew she was going to be on the show, we were like, okay, well, for one episode, we just got to be good. All right, we'll just be good. For one episode, it won't kill us, right? We'll just be good, well-behaved. We won't sing and dance on the set and tell, whatever. Anyway, she came on the set, and within 10 minutes, we realized she was wackier than the rest of us put together, and she would fit right in. Now, talk about sexual harassment. She was always pinching boys' bums. She was. She'd go up and grab Johnny's ass. Mind you, I found there's a difference. I was talking about this with Michael Dorn. I said, so Dorney, how would you feel if a woman came up and grabbed your ass? He went, oh, that would be great. And I'm like, okay, that's the biggest difference. That's the biggest difference between men and women. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, love.
Hello.
Hello.
So seeing as you all got on so well on set, did you ever play pranks on each other?
No.
Was there a really good one?
Okay,
No.
I'm going to be a psychologist now, because I played one on TV, so I know. You only play pranks on people that deep down in your soul you really don't like, right? Right, yes. When you love people, you don't play pranks. The only thing that happened that I thought was hysterical, because Patrick didn't even notice, because he's away with the fairies most of the time. When Gates, I think Gates had an episode. It was a big Crusher episode, and there was. She was in charge of the ship once. Was she ever in charge of the ship? Okay, when she was in charge of the ship. And so she redecorated the ready room. And she put pictures of herself, and Wesley and herself, and, and like, she's very good with, she's really good at decor. She's really good at, decorating. So it looked lovely, but Patrick walked in and didn't even notice. So it was totally wasted, all that work. But like I said, he's very old. We have to bear in mind how very old he is. Okay, so no pranks. I mean, Patrick and Michael Dorn had a fake feud. They would hide in corners and leap on each other. That was fun. Because then they'd pretend fight. And Patrick would always die, because he's a Shakespearean actor. And if all of you have ever seen Hamlet, Hamlet says, I die, Horatio, about 10 times before he actually pops his clogs. So it used to take Patrick like 20 minutes to die. He loved it, writhing around. Oh! So anyway, that was pretty much it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Now, you've seen me for, oh my God, my time's nearly up. I know, but I'm funny, right? So... But we're all funny in my cast, and that's why we had such a good time. The funniest one of all of us, I think, is Brent, because he's really smart. He's really smart, and I think to be really funny, you have to be really, really smart, right? And he's like off the chart smart, so I don't think I'm far behind, but anyway. But so we were a very funny cast. So we weren't laughing because we were playing jokes on each other, we were laughing because we're a funny cast, right? So I'm going to have to go because I think people are waiting. I can see wings.
They can wait.
They can wait. They'll get a hook. I just want to say before I go, I'm coming, don't panic. Put me on last next time, God's sakes. Anyway, this is my favorite part of the convention, so I never want to leave. I just want to say before I go, in my business, show business, there are certain people, whether they're in the music industry or the movie industry or the TV or whatever, that sometimes I think forget exactly why we have, if you're successful of course, the blessed life that I have. I have a blessed life. I'm doing what I love to do and I'm getting paid for it. I worked with the best people ever on my show. I've been lucky enough. I've never had a bad experience at work. Well, it's not true. That was with the director, not with other actors. I have been blessed in my life to do what I love to do and to make a living at it. The reason I've been able to do that is because of you. Because you guys turned on your TV sets for 7 years and went to see 3.5 movies. And basically gave me everything I have, everything I own, everything I have, my American husband, my dogs, the clothes that I'm wearing, the house that I live in, the car that I drive. I owe everything to you. There is not enough, there aren't words enough to express my gratitude to you guys. Because really, you'd never heard of me before I did Star Trek. Never knew who I was, and why would you? But because of your devotion, and Star Trek fans are the most loyal fans in the history of the universe, right? Because of you, I have this wonderful, wonderful life. And I thank you, and God bless you, and thanks for coming out today.
Hey, wasn't that fun? I know I had a great time. If you want to see some more great videos just like that, you can click right over here. Also, click here to subscribe to our channel, and leave a thumbs up and a comment in the section below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.